When we want to Kholodny Ferma Summer. Apparently, Burmie and Sirlami both know exactly what they want to do this game because it hasn't even been 1 minute and it's already armored assault versus mobile defense. So Burmie wins. GG. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Am I though? Here we go. We're gonna see double conscript opening. Sirlami getting a pretty early MG42 after just one grenadier. Austria on the left, Soviets on the right.
Workers of the Soviet Union.
MG42 team is ready for action.
Conscripts heading north.
You need something built? Conscripts here.
These two squads heading south. Now it looks like we're going to see pretty typical Oster behavior here on Kholodny Ferma west side. Always go straight for that green cover position. Piles run straight there. Sometimes they wire off the right side of that. Sometimes they throw up some barbed wire right there. Sometimes they jump in the house. But whatever they do, Oster always goes straight for this munitions point and then desperately tries to defend this cut-off munitions fuel combo for the next 10 minutes or so, and it's not always easy. We'll see what Burmie chooses to do to apply pressure up there. He's only dedicated 2 squads to back capping. The other 2 are going to start probing a little in the north. Not going to make any attempt for the munitions at first, just grabbing the victory point there because he doesn't want to get caught by Sirlami's entire army. This conscript squad making its way through the center, maybe to try to grab the center VP, peek if there's anything in that house. The church is unoccupied currently as well. And 2nd Grenadier Squad's actually not going to contribute to the defense of the north, but try and do harassment in the south, but it probably won't get too far with 2 squads down here. So, might grab that strategic point. Unlikely to make it any further than that. Not currently positioned in any cover, not that there's that much cover in this capture circle. The conscripts are not going to go in hard on that. Here comes the first engagement for the right side. MG42 got 1 burst on that conscript squad, but no suppression. Conscripts reposition slightly and start firing on those Pios. Grenadiers move to support in the engagement, and those conscripts are just outnumbered. They aren't going to lose this. There's the retreat. Here in the middle, conscripts are taking control of the victory point right there, and conscripts are actually losing this engagement against those grenadiers. Grenadiers don't have any cover, but at this range, those conscripts just aren't doing very well. Combat engineers upgrade with a flamethrower to turn the engagement back in Burmie's favor. Sirlami will have to pull back to safety. Flamethrower convinces the Grenadier squad to retreat. As for the right side, or north rather, MG42 jumps in the building. Grenadiers take the rest of the territory, and Pios are retreating to throw up a tier 1 structure, or tier 2 structure at some point, I think. I don't know why else he would have retreated just now. He hasn't researched Battle Phase 1 yet though, so I guess I'm actually not sure what he's doing. Grenadiers trying to kite that flamethrower to death will be successful. There's the retreat. They don't want to stick around at that engagement any longer. This conscript squad is going to make a play for the cutoff. Probably get shut down if nothing flanks in conjunction with them, because there is a machine gun in this house. Grenadiers moving up to support as well, and there's the suppression. There's the retreat. This conscript squad heading right to get control of the victory point should be able to do so unopposed. Grenadiers are going to again attempt harassment of the south. There are conscripts placed inside the cutoff house right here. And Grenadiers are going to jump into the church. 4 Grenadier opening plus the 1 MG42 to a 4 conscript opening plus flamethrower. No tech structures yet. Molotovs and healing both being researched. And there's a bunker from those Pios. Still no Battle Phase 1. You can build bunkers with Grenadiers, so we didn't have to retreat his Pios to build that, but alright, whatever. Sure. Grenadiers are dying quite quickly against the conscripts in that building. Geez, some really nice volleys right there. Flamethrower moves up from the left side to force the retreat. 2 of them go down. There's the retreat. They don't vault the fence first, but it doesn't really matter. They should be able to get away just fine. 2 retreats from Sirlami, who is getting healing, who wants to be able to heal that flamethrower and Grenadier squad, and then these 3 squads are making their way south to take control of
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
everything down there. There's one squad of conscripts moving to counter. It's not going to be able to win against 3 Grens though. Here in the north, conscripts are taking control of a strategic point. MG42 is just going to continue defending the munitions for now, but that fuel is going to be a concern once those conscripts decide to go take it. Grenadiers will be able to trade for the south territories a little bit quicker than that one squad of conscripts though. 2 squads here in the base are fully healed and reinforced, and there's battle phase 1 in production. Probably going to transition to tier 2 next. I wonder if Sirlami is going to go straight for tier 4 on mobile defense. That could be kind of interesting. As mobile defense, a possible strategy you can use is only call in enough things that you need to survive, take out T-70s or T-34s or whatever, and then try and get to tier 4. Kind of like close air support actually. Only redistribute as much fuel as you need to survive, and then slowly work your way up to tier 4 or tier 3 or whatever. They're kind of similar in that kind of a regard. We'll see what Sirlami chooses to do. I've also seen plenty of people go mobile defense plus tier 3. Just for Panzer IVs, in addition to the command tank, because the command tank actually gives a pretty awesome buff to Oster tier 3 units as well, so you can see that. Flamethrower loses that fight and has to retreat. Conscripts jumping into this building.
We have lost a squad.
Grenadiers taking control of the south strategic point, and a full squad of Grenadiers got wiped down here. Sirlami not monitoring the engagement, neither was I. Grenadiers get wiped. Hoorahing conscripts getting into short range. If he can get that wipe, it'll be an pretty even trade. Doesn't look like he's going to though. Trying to get in range to fire at them in the red cover. Fire, Grenadiers! Nope. Conscripts get away. Miracle escape. Here in the south, Grenadiers are caught in open ground against conscripts at pretty long range. I don't know. And that could go either way. Grenadiers will retreat though. Grenadiers engaging up here. Should maybe win this. I don't know. I can't tell. That's a pretty close engagement too. More Grenadiers moving to support will definitely turn it in Sirlami's favor, and MG42 looks like it's going to move to cover the center. Molotov toss here is off target. Grenadiers will dodge, and the north fuel will finally fall back into Sirlami's control. He does have a bit of a victory point problem. 100 behind. Needs to try and get the victory points ticking against his opponent soon if he can. Tier 3 going up in Burmie's base, so he's not going to go straight for call-ins. Pretty unusual, by the way, to see tier 3 on an armored assault, because armored assault is an extremely fuel-hungry commander if you actually intend to field all of its features. You would pretty much have to float fuel all game and not purchase any tech at all if you wanted to get both the T-34-85s and IS-2, which is definitely possible to do, but it's over 400 fuel, so tier 3 is a little strange, but okay. Once that's complete, probably going to go tier T-70 or T-34, or half-track, I guess, if it's plausible. These forces push away a squad of conscripts there from the south. Conscripts taking control of that. Victory point 2. MG42 firing on those conscripts right there. Deal a little bit of extra damage. Nothing too serious. The squad will get away. Everything making its way north. Sirlami, having deployed 2 squads of Ostrupen, doesn't get that great of a role. Not a whole lot of veterancy, but he does get an LMG, so that's something, I guess. And he'll have a lot of capping power as a result of his decision to field those.
You can teach an old dog new tricks.
LMG Grenadiers engaging against conscripts here in the north. Have to retreat away from those conscripts. Seems like kind of an early retreat though. I feel like if he had bunched both of his squads in cover right there, he probably could have won that engagement. Especially if he used a grenade. Didn't feel that that was a good engagement though. We'll retreat. Wow, that T-70 shot. Instant retreat from the LMG Ostrupen. That squad goes to throw a Panzerfaust on it to prevent any further chasing. I'll give them a little bit of time to capture the munitions point. Grenadiers making their way north. There is a teller mine here in the road. If you can convince that T-70 to drive down the central road somehow, might be able to take that thing out. His opponent does not have a minesweeper. Went flamethrower instead, but his second combat engineering squad is hitting the field now. He may go minesweeper on that one. Demo charge here on the munitions point puts it in the green cover right there to maximize his chances of getting a wipe. Flamethrower heading north. Grenadiers also making their way towards this general area. And the T-70 is pulling back towards the base for repairs. There is indeed a minesweeper on the 2nd Combat Engineer Squad, and he has gone half-track, actually, after T-70. So, pretty significant investment of fuel into Tier 3 here by Burmie. That's definitely going to slow down his call-ins, but if you can use those Tier 3 vehicles to take the 2nd fuel point, he'll probably get a pretty good return on that investment, so he's probably going to start trying to pressure the north with those. 2 squads of conscripts working on the south munitions and victory point. That Grenadier squad has to retreat from the conscripts in the building, and these combat engineers are going to circle around north, maybe try and work on the fuel, or throw down more demo charges or something. Here comes the half-track. We'll be able to reinforce these 2 squads. T-70 fully repaired, making its way towards the church, I think. A squad of Ostrupen sets up in green cover right there to prepare for the Soviet advance, provide a little bit of vision. Here comes a wipe, for sure. And 2 Ostrupen.
Our brave infantry is dying.
We'll retreat immediately afterward. That was a pretty sneaky demo charge. Sirlami does not have a minesweeper. He decided to go with the flamethrower. If he wants a minesweeper, he has to field another set of pyos, and he's already a little strapped for manpower. His decision to go with Strupen doesn't seem like it's really paying off either. Everywhere he pushes on the map, he seems to get shut down just by conscripts, which are all it really takes to beat Ostrupen.
The enemy is taking our territory. Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Flamethrower engaging against a combat engineer and conscript squad right there.
Supply are disrupted. The territory is out of contact. With the Soviet unit. We have a full complement.
T-70 firing at the Ostrupen right there. Conscripts also bleeding them. And there's a quad mount upgrade on this half-track, simultaneously working the south flank. Kind of a late retreat on those grenadiers. There's a very good chance of that wipe. They're definitely dead. T-70 almost gets destroyed with the main gun destroyed. Crit up here from that AT gun. Gets a miracle survival. Grenadiers wiped in the south. Flamethrower almost gets wiped too, but survives very narrowly. Sirlami is clearly struggling horribly at this point of the game. That T-70 looks like it's going to get away, but there is a Puma on the field. Maybe he can try and hunt down and kill it with that. It seems like it has a damaged engine based on its current speed. Half-track goes in hard on these Ostrupen. It has a damaged engine now. Where's that Puma? There it is. Oh, it's stuck behind the AT gun. Those 2 squads will be forced to retreat. Puma reveals itself to those conscripts right there. AT gun trying to get in range for a shot on the half-track. Does connect. Puma can't seem to close the distance. There's an AT grenade? No, Molotov. Molotov on the AT gun. Puma finishes the job and the AA half-track is destroyed. T-70 is pulling back to safety right there. Puma may be able to hunt down and destroy that before any further T3 units arrive. And is he really going to go T-34 now? He's got 45 fuel coming in, so I guess I could understand that. He's still a point and a half away from Collins. But it seems like now would be the time to start floating up for Collins and trying to pressure that Puma off the field with other units like Tier 2 and Tier 0 units, AT grenades, which are in production, and maybe a field gun. T-34 seems like an overinvestment in Tier 3 at this point, but I could understand him wanting to press his advantage since he currently holds almost literally the entire map. AT gun is taking control of the center victory point, and Ostrupen are heading north to start trying to slow things down a little if they can. Currently the north is totally undefended, so he might be able to get some of those points back under his control.
The enemy is gaining a foothold. We are down to 300 points.
T-34 on the field, T-70 heading south too. Flamethrower jumping into close range on the conscripts right there. Still a teller mine right there, by the way.
Command tanks
Minesweeper hasn't found it yet. T-70 moves to take a shot at the Puma. T-34 probably just hiding in the fog, try and convince that Puma to chase. Try and get a bait going a little bit. Sirlami's not taking the bait though. He spots the T-34 with Grenadiers coming down the left flank. And both of those tanks will pull back for some light repairs. There's a mine there as well. Flamethrower almost wipes that conscript squad. We'll get out just in time. Couple squads moving down the central road, but no Minesweeper. Minesweeper is currently occupied in engagement for the north against 4 squads of Ostrupen, which are going to try and get more territory captured up there. I think this quantity of Ostrupen is a mistake. I don't know how he's going to take on a T-34 and T-70 with that. Half-track just died. I was like, what was that explosion? I didn't even see it happen. Half-track hit the teller mine right there. It goes down. Nice teller mine. Full retreat from the Soviet player as he wants to get some healing and reinforcement done on all of his conscripts. And the T-70 is receiving light repairs here in the north. Where it should be able to push away those Ostrupen, but the Puma is circling north as well to engage against it. T-70 versus Puma matchup seems to favor the Puma because of superior range and damage, but a T-70 can take a Puma out if it has a health advantage or even if it just gets a good flank. Take advantage of turret rotation. It can be a pretty close fight. Puma has the advantage though, if microed well because of its long range, so T-70 doesn't want to go in. Fresh piles on the field for possibly a Minesweeper and more repairs. 2 squads of conscripts and a T-34 will attempt to protect the south from LMG Ostrupen and Grenadiers.
Attempting to steal our sector. Contact infantry.
Conscripts toss a Molotov into that green cover position. Both squads will be forced to retreat. T-34 moves to also take shots. Gets a pretty nice hit against those two, against that clump, but will be forced to reposition away by that AT gun. Conscripts moving up to try and clear the AT gun may put it in danger. Reposition to safety. It's falling low pretty quickly. Ostrupen. Apparently a third set of Ostrupen just got called in. That is a lot of Ostrupen. T-70 engaging against a Minesweeper right there. It will retreat, get away narrowly. Conscripts move to take control of the victory, or the munitions and fuel points here in the north. In the south, it looks like that full squad of Ostrupen got wiped by T-34 plus conscripts, bringing Sirlami down to 5 of his original 6. Puma moving to support, and AT gun moves to support. LMG Ostrupen falling low against those conscripts, although that T-34 crater actually gave them that accuracy bonus. That T-34 shot at Ostrupen and made them stronger. That's how good the T-34-76 is.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Puma making its way towards the munitions. T-34 takes a shot at those pios. One of them goes down. Everything has been captured here in the north, and the Soviet player will have super big fuel income once again, which means he will be able to get his call-ins despite his decision to purchase every tier 3 unit. Sirlami kind of hanging on by a thread here on the south resource points, and he's very unlikely to actually get control of that fuel unless he makes a huge push and kills that T-34. Molotov forces a retreat from those grenadiers. More Ostrupin making their way out of the base to try and push those conscripts back. Victory point will get taken here though, and stop the clock against Sirlami. Burmie has a 250 victory point lead. Sirlami has briefly extended the game, while Burmie thinks about how he is going to assault south. Has a little bit of manpower float, so he throws down a fuel cache to get his fuel up for his call-ins. He's still going to be floating a little more than he needs to. He might maybe get a second fuel cache, but he's going to have what he needs for those T-34s quite soon. With 42 fuel coming in.
Pioneers ready for anything. Full squad.
Grenadiers ready.
Incoming fire. Enemy aircraft spotted.
Sturmovik gets called in on these Ostrupin, and everything will just retreat. No serious damage, everything will get healed just fine. T-70 also hovering in the area. Could maybe pressure the machine gun from this building, but it again has to be careful about that T-70. T-70 looks like it's going to go in hard, or Puma looks like it's going to go in hard. Misses its shot against the T-70, and both vehicles will disengage. T-34 hovering in the south, and there's the IS-2 from Burmie, who didn't want to go T-34-85s, which I guess could be a sensible decision against Pumas, because the Puma really struggles to even hurt the IS-2, whereas it is capable of at least damaging T-34-85s. With two T-34s would have no problem cleaning up this Puma either. Well, what was that maneuver? Immediately exposes his rear armor and then drives away. Why would he not go in hard? He should definitely engage. He could win an engagement with that IS-2 so easily here for the center. I don't know why he pulled back. T-70's pulling back a little bit. The Sturmovik makes another pass and suppresses both Ostrupin squads right there. They're probably going to have to retreat. AT gun sets up facing right. Conscripts need to retreat. What is that IS-2 doing? He just fielded it and it's not doing anything. He's completely missing out on the shock value of that unit, and his opponent has seen it.
The peg gun is ready for orders.
A little strange. These two squads are going to retreat from the engagement. Ostrupin moved to take control of the strategic point there, I think. T-34 idle, IS-2 idle, T-70 hovering around in the north. And Sirlami is going to send some squads to get territory back under control up there. There's another AT gun on the field now. Two AT guns will give him some protection against the IS-2 and T-34 should they choose to start moving. T-34 takes a shot at the Puma and brings it very low. IS-2 still stationary. Is it bugged or something?
Here. We have captured a sector.
Oh, it turned around. That's something.
The enemy is taking our territory.
T-70 self-repairing. I feel like Burmie is microing his lighter vehicles so furiously that he's like forgetting to use his IS-2. Hopefully he will time the engagement here with his IS-2 with the push from his other vehicles. If he engages one at a time, he may not have that much success. Here in the south, conscripts and flamethrower taking control of the south VP against these two LMG squads, may be forced to retreat, although that grenadier squad is not currently firing, blocked by the hedge. IS-2 clears a machine gun here. AT gun circles back north to fire on the IS-2 right there. IS-2 just got called in on the Puma plus AT gun, and doesn't look like it really hit that much, although it almost wipes that Ostrupin squad.
100 points remaining.
Puma firing at the IS-2.
The enemy has destroyed an anti-tank gun. Our opponents are
That IS-2 is gonna die. Maybe. Puma actually does die, thanks to a well-executed and timed flank right there from those two vehicles. The AT gun just cannot seem to kill that IS-2, which is pulled just outside of its vision. Command tank fielded by Sirlami now, and it's falling pretty low to a stolen pack. Game is going very badly for Sirlami, who has lost his Puma. Is pushed off the battlefield with his command tank. Seems to be, just continues to be contained. And Burmie is now floating 900 manpower with which to field his next set of call-ins, whatever he chooses to do. T-34 and T-70 need to be careful and get back for some repairs, though. They are falling a little bit low. All of his tanks, in fact, are a little bit low. Sirlami almost manages to take out a few of them, but couldn't quite seal the deal. Oh, until he gets that miracle shot on the T-70 right there. Anti-tank gun moves up for a lucky hit, but this T-34 should be able to circle strafe it to death. There goes that guy to the coaxial machine gun. Just needs to keep circle strafing. There it goes. AT gun cleared. Fresh Puma? No. Command tank is probably not able to take out that T-34 at its current level of health. I don't know. It's going to try, apparently. Here it comes. Does get a frontal penetrating shot. T-34 rotating its turret to fire. Misses. They both miss. Grenadiers move to recover the AT gun. Oh, it's going to go down. Didn't get the shot off in time. AT gun's going to have to reposition to safety. At least he manages to recover his AT gun. That alone made that engagement worthwhile. Getting that thing back into his possession. Conscripts go for the AT grenade, but they're getting bled hard here in their attempts. AT grenade does penetrate, and that's engine damage, but I don't know if there's anything that can follow up on that right now. IS-2, however, will be fully repaired very soon, so Sirlami will be forced to deal with that again in the extremely near future. A couple squads reinforcing and healing in the base, and an AT gun is making its way back to the front line to see if it can do anything.
Mission complete.
Reinforcements complete. Territory increased.
Ostrupen take control of the munitions and strategic points here in the north and the fuel. Conscripts walk through that stuff. What? I guess it's all been flattened now. Yeah, it's like it's gone. It's been destroyed by the IS-2. It's kind of hard to tell from the default camera angle whether that's like actually still there or not. It looks pretty dense still, but apparently conscripts are like, whatever, figure it out. Pios and Ostrupen engaging against conscripts here in the north, slowly try to push that away. The IS-2 is making its way up here to fire on some stuff. Will force a retreat from that MG-42. There is an AT gun set up right there to attack ground through the hedge, maybe. Not shooting with it yet though. Conscripts in the south are gonna get wiped. That's a late retreat in this engagement. Grenadiers plus command tank take that squad out easily, but there is now a second IS-2 on the field. And that AT gun's probably gonna die. Just activated target weak point, and it will succeed. There's a T-34 and an IS-2 right there. That AT gun just got cleared. Command tank is in extreme danger. Puma going in hard for this engagement. That IS-2 is actually falling pretty low right here. Ostrupen might get wiped by the T-34, and there it goes. Puma also falling low to the T-34. IS-2 destroyed by the AT gun. During that, Puma is about to be destroyed. Oh, pop smoke to try and survive. Command tank also pops smoke. This IS-2 still has full health. It's not even really close to being taken out at all. T-34 chases the Puma right there. And there it goes. IS-2 goes through the smoke to engage against the command tank and AT gun. Ostrupen squad here is also at only one man and might get destroyed any second. But it does get a Panzerfaust off before dying, but the command tank is dead. IS-2, however, is taking shots from an AT gun there in the north and might be destroyed. Switches targets to the T-34, which is falling low. The IS-2 shot just missed. T-34 shot missed. Ostrupin moving up to try and seal the deal on something. Oh my god, everything just missed that AT gun before it was destroyed. Ostrupin might try and brute force this IS-2 to death with Panzerfaust fire. That squad has to retreat. This whole blob might be in very serious danger if it's not careful. Circling around behind the IS-2, more Panzerfaust being tossed. Molotov onto the AT gun to prevent it from being recrewed. Ostrupin maybe try and flood towards that AT gun. IS-2 hasn't even moved. What is it waiting for? Ostrupin just swarming it from all directions, and there's another Panzerfaust. Just Panzerfaust spam and nothing else. Kills the IS-2, and both IS-2s are dead. The Puma's dead, the T-34 is dead, the command tank is dead. Pretty brutal engagement on all sides. Sirlami does have the advantage of Ostrupin, which can recrew team weapons very cheaply, so that'll be good. His opponent, on the other hand, is down now to only 3 squads of conscripts, and his minesweeper can queue up some new conscripts now while he waits for his fuel to take back up for a fresh call-in of whatever variety he wants. And these 2 squads are moving to take control of territory here in the north.
The enemy is taking our territory. Grenadier squad at full strength. Pioneers awaiting orders.
Ostrupin ready. Ostrupin here.
Pioneers.
Now things are pretty quiet. Flamethrower making its way north, chases away that minesweeper. There is a demo charge deployed right there. Conscripts continue taking that territory. We're going to see another push here for the middle, but it probably won't succeed. Just conscripts, just plain vanilla fresh conscripts, charging into a machine gun in a huge defensive line. Sirlami will push that back easily, although he does have to retreat that squad from a Molotov. It's no big deal. Maintains control of the center VP. These 2 squads are taking control of the south VP completely unopposed. And apparently Burmie has just fielded a mortar. Interesting choice. Nice minesweeper right there. Minesweeper spots the demo charge and it is cleared without anything dying except for one random Pio. There's a flamethrower here for this engagement, so securing that building may be dangerous. Puma, fresh Puma on the field to assist in this engagement. I don't think Sirlami has any intention of transitioning out of Pumas. No tier 3, no, he actually does have battle phase 2, so maybe the thought has crossed his mind, but for right now he just wants to field himself a Puma for protection against tier 3 apparently, and the T-34 is also being fielded, transitioning back down from call-ins to tech. Interesting choice. Minesweeper in the south will get forced away by these 2 squads, which continue their advance, continue to take territory away from Burmie. LMG, Ostrupin are going to push these conscripts out of the center victory point slowly. They do have the accuracy bonus from cover and an LMG, so they're doing pretty good damage. Ooh, that friendly fire from the mortar almost wiped that conscript squad. Flamethrower squad will get away alive. Puma is dealing minor damage to those conscripts, but with its coaxial machine gun and their current level of health, they won't be able to stick around, and there's the retreat. T-34 on the field, looks like it's going to dive that Puma, maybe. There's an AT gun protecting it, though, in the general vicinity. These 2 squads heading south, get control of all the various territory. Slowly. These LMG Grenadiers apparently aren't even going to leave the VP. I guess he just wants to protect the victory point because he doesn't have a whole lot left to work with, only 138. And he will get the clock ticking against his opponent again now. Mortar's off to a pretty okay start apparently, forcing that retreat, forcing those Pios. So far it seems like it was a pretty decent purchase. This MG has been crewed by Ostrupin, so now it has this hovering plus sign over the squad. It doesn't actually get a bonus of any kind, does it?
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Either way, there's a bug involved here. And that little hovering icon should not be over their heads, or they're receiving a buff that they should not be receiving.
The enemy is taking our territory.
T-34 firing at those Ostrupen will force the retreat. Puma is just kind of sitting here. Flamethrower wipes a squad in the church with the lucky crit, I think. Grenadiers are forced from the south VP by a Molotov cocktail from those conscripts, and the clock will start ticking against Sirlami again. Ooh. Mortar plus Molotov wipes that flamethrower. And these Ostrupen are going to make their way into the munitions point. Get that under control. And these two Pumas are making their way, circling towards the south. Two Pumas against a T-34 should be able to engage pretty well. Since Burmie decided to go back to T-34-76s instead of an IS-2, those Pumas are actually going to have a pretty decent window of opportunity where they're pretty useful still. They can't overextend over any mines though, and they can't expose themselves to enemy fire for too long. Two squads heading south to get this territory back under control. They should be able to do so unopposed. Mortar's up to 8 kills already. It's doing pretty well for an incredibly late game mortar. Seems like it was a pretty good choice. T-34 is about to finish self-preparing, maybe move to re-engage. Ostrupen finished taking control of the victory point right there. Pio's finished taking control of the munitions point.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Things seem to be pretty quiet again, just minor engagements, various locations on the battlefield. Molotov toss right there on those grenadiers. Will dodge, should be able to push that squad into retreating, but a T-34 is on its way to force these squads off the VP. But since the conscripts were forced to retreat, apparently the T-34 is also going to retreat. It's a little weird, but alright. 3 Pumas on the field for Sirlami now, and they're making their way towards the north to engage against those conscripts. Molotov toss on those Ostrupen as they try to take control of the VP and get a triple cap going against Burmie, who looks like he's waiting for another call-in. 3 Pumas is definitely too much for one T-34-76 to take on safely. T-34 moves to engage in the center, but takes an AT gun shot and might be vulnerable to the Puma swarm. For now, they appear to be focused on killing the conscripts in this church. Ostrupen moving up to assist in pressuring those conscripts from the building. I'm wondering now if Burmie is planning on going IS-2 again, or if he will field a set of T-34-85s. Against this, 2 T-34-85s might be the better call, because in conjunction with his existing T-34, a full volley could one-shot a Puma if microed well, but an IS-2 would probably be easier to preserve. Pumas wipe the fuel cache right there. Ostrupen are going crazy deep towards this point, apparently. And the Pumas are going to pull back to safety, and a 4th Puma is on the field now. So Sirlami is just going to spam Pumas like crazy from now till the end of the game, I guess. No intention of utilizing his Battle Phase 2 research. Puma is firing at that IS-2, trying to kite it a little bit. T-34 is probably going to have to support it. That's a lot of Pumas for one IS-2 to take on. It'll be a lot easier if you can somehow damage one of their engines with an AT grenade or something. But he is still triple capped.
We fight bravely for the Reich. The enemy is down to 200. We are losing a sector. Pioneers ready for anything.
AT gun moves up to support against any frontal assault. Frontal assault would be suicide against this by either of these units. IS-2 and T-34 slowly repairing. From one combat engineer squad, those repairs are going to take quite some time. 2 squads of conscripts head south to get the victory point back under control. Osttroppen move to try and counter. Seem to be doing pretty okay in yellow cover against conscripts in red since they have their LMG and their Vet 3. And both squads are going to retreat. They should be able to get control of the south sector and get the triple cap going against Burmie again, unless he moves to counter with one of his tanks. Conscripts will retreat away from these 2 squads, and Osttroppen move to take control of the south VP. Puma randomly snipes a mortar crew member. Conscripts oorang at a close range on the Puma will damage its engine with an AT grenade right there. It's trying to pull that one back to safety. T-34 peaked, might die. Fortunately, no long-range shots connect. IS-2 should not dive this defensive line. Look at all this crap. Fortunately, the Panzerfaust will bounce. And the second AT gun, where is the second AT gun? Oh, it's all the way back in the base, and this one just got killed by a precision strike. Osttroppen will move to recover.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
That was a lot of bounces. Everything is just bouncing off that IS-2. Blink, 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 blink.
The enemy has destroyed an anti-tank gun.
AT gun shot penetrates. Pumas are going deep south. MG-42 is going to keep these 2 squads suppressed, and AT guns apparently feel somewhat comfortable advancing further forward. 2 Pumas hit a mine and take engine damage, and we'll need to pull back for some repairs. Which might take some time, and the Maxim is going to deal pretty heavy damage to both of those AT guns right there. Engine damage on the T-34 from those Grenadiers. Osttroppen trying to take control of the south fuel. 1 squad of conscripts has been deployed north to get the victory point there back under control, stop the bleed against him. It looks like Sirlami has finally pulled the VPs back even and is now winning. Puma moves up to take very long shots at that T-34 or just those conscripts. MG defending the center point against this Maxim. That fight will probably last a while. This Puma's been fully repaired. Sirlami up to 5 Pumas now. And now that Sirlami has taken control of both fuel points, there's probably not going to be any further call-ins from Burmie. Puma's just slightly bleeding those conscripts at range with lucky snipes. LMG Osttroppen set up and cover here seem to be doing pretty well against those squads. That one should retreat. Maxim brings that machine gun pretty low though. It's probably going to need to retreat too. Osttroppen with their LMG are going to move up into the general area and maybe try and, I don't know, just ignore that Maxim for now. 1 squad of Osttroppen retreats, the other one moves to take control of the cutoff. Pumas continue to plank off that IS-2. They have a very poor chance of penetrating IS-2 at long range, since I think they only have 80-some penetration against 300, 400 something armor the IS-2 has in the front.
Our opponents are seizing a sector.
LMG Grenadiers trying to wipe the Maxim in that building. Look like they will be successful. It's making no effort to reposition to safety, but the IS-2 forces a retreat from all of those infantry. It looks like all Pumas have been fully repaired and are going to go for a hard flank on the IS-2 and T-34 now. There's a minesweeper there, but nothing that can perform engine damage, but at least the tanks will turn around to defend themselves against what is coming here. One of these Pumas is vet 1 for target weak point. This one also has access to it. T-34, another T-34 just came from the right side. Sirlami may not have been totally ready for that, but this one just got destroyed entirely. He's about to maybe back over that mine. Yes, he does. Engine damage from an AT grenade and engine damage from that mine puts those two Pumas in great danger. This one's trying to circle around the right flank. This one coming back through the north. One Puma goes down right there. T-34 slowly rotating its turret. The AT guns are trying to move also to support in this engagement. There's target weak point on the rear armor of that IS-2, and it will get briefly stunned. The T-34 is destroyed, and the IS-2 is destroyed. There it goes. 3 Pumas survive by a hair. AT grenade destroys that one. Both of these are now going to have to get back to safety as quick as they can. I might want to pop smoke just to be safe on those last two. Pretty vulnerable even to small arms fire, but it looks like they're both going to get away. There is a squad of conscripts right there though, but it's disengaging away from this approaching blob, and I think both of those Pumas are going to be fine. Apparently now Burmie sees fit to build an AT gun. Now he needs one. He actually did almost set up a triple cap during the course of that series of engagements though. Despite being brought down to 69 victory points, he got the clock ticking against Sirlami sort of briefly, but it looks like Grenadiers are going to take control here in the center. That squad of Ostrupen heading straight for the north VP. We'll get the clock ticking against Burmie once again. As for fuel, Burmie is still quite far away from another call-in since he just fielded 2 T-34-76s for 200 fuel. And they're both now dead. 2 AT guns make their way center to see if they can do anything. There's not really anything for them to contribute other than further defense against future vehicles, but I don't know if any more vehicles are going to be hitting this battlefield. Conscripts getting pinned down here in the center in their attempt to take control of the VP. This Puma is going to start harassing and bleeding conscripts here in the south once again. And the mortar is actually vet 3 with 27 kills. Wow. Pretty good purchase on that mortar. That thing has definitely made a dramatic impact this game. Grenadiers taking control of the munitions. Ostrupen grab the VP and then move towards the strategic point in the north. Minesweeper Pios heading south to get control of that VP and get a triple cap going against Burmie again. 3 Pumas currently on the field, and T-34-76 is in production.
We have captured a sector.
Mortar hits those Ostrupen. They're going to be forced to retreat. Conscripts pushed away from the center VP.
We have hammered the enemy down to 50 points. We're drawing fire!
T-34 takes a hit from a Panzerfaust and dies instantly. Dies instantly to that Puma volley. Not even close. That 100 fuel just went right down the drain. Combat engineers are going to try and take control of the center VP with conscripts charging at everything. Try and force away those AT guns. Scare off those Pumas with the threat of AT grenades. Meanwhile here in the north, Ostrupen are burning to death in a Molotov and have to retreat. 4th Puma on the field now. LMG Ostrupen are gonna win against those conscripts. There's the wipe.
We killed an enemy squad.
But somehow Burmie has set a triple cap up against Sirlami, who really needs to turn that around. Ostrupen jump into the center capture circle to try and slow that down, and this squad is making its way towards the south to try and save the day.
Grenadiers reinforced!
These conscripts should probably grab that munitions.
We must stiffen our resolve. We are down to 75 points.
Clock is ticking against Sirlami so quick. Ostrupen take control of the south VP. Conscripts grabbing the munitions right there. MG42 is going to move into the capture circle to start getting that VP capped. And once he has these 2 victory points, clock will be ticking against Burmie again. Ostrupen are charging with LMG Grenadiers to try and clear that field gun and potentially also that mortar.
Receiving fire!
Ostrupen have the south VP and the center is decapped. Clock will stop with Sirlami with 58 points remaining. LMG Grenadiers making their way in short range against the conscripts in this road. They are in red cover and dying really quickly. They should retreat. Throwing a Molotov, but they're gonna die. There they go, laser beamed to death by those Grenadiers. There's basically nothing left for Burmie at this point, who keeps on losing full squads when it matters the most. Rifle grenade out of the field, gun. Probably gonna get wipes too. I feel like he's just given up on microwing half of his units. There it goes, dead. Conscripts working on the north VP. This squad of conscripts takes control of the munitions here. Looks like it's gonna get wiped by LMG Ostrupen, of all things. Sirlami working the cutoff, and that's the game, apparently. Sirlami has a huge infantry force, 4 Pumas, lots of AT guns. This T-34-76 was about to roll on the field, but it looks like it wasn't going to matter. We saw some pretty ridiculous engagements between Pumas and IS-2s this game. Sirlami hit quite a few mines, so he could work on his minesweeper support. And I feel like IS-2 micro, T-34 micro, T-70 micro, just generally, Burmie could have tightened up a lot of his micro, executed a little bit better. GG. Axis wins.